Natural gas for a gas line, for whatever that may be, whether that be a gas stove or gas hot water heater, etc. If the question, if one needs to determine what size what size gas pressure they have, and I'm not talking about physical size here. What we're talking about is psi. How many psi? Question, and I'm not certain if this is correct, but like 27.68, 1 psi equals 27.68, or plus or minus somewhere thereabouts, water columns. So basically just round that up to 28. So if we have one water column, we just say 28. So if we have a 2-pound meter, we have 28 times 2. So we would have 56 water columns coming in here. So if we had 56 water columns coming in here, this is going to be too much pressure. So just a telltale sign, without checking it with a manometer or whatever tool one would use, then basically just look for this. This is turned upside down. It'll kind of be tapered up on the other side. But if you see one of these on your line, you know you're going to need it, because this may portend that you may have something along the lines of, say, maybe a 2-pound meter. And if you hook this up, it's not gonna work properly. So and also, if you have a 2-pound gas line and gas meter, and then you need a regulator, you're going to need in my opinion, you may need a regulator for each particular item. Say, for instance, you had a hot water heater and then you had gas logs, so you're going to need 2 in that case. So don't use one to try to use one for all. Now, if you do a tankless hot water heater, you're going to need something like this, but you're going to need a 3/4. This is a 1/2 inch. So this would get you from 2 pounds to, hypothetically, if we go 2 pounds here, this would go from 2 pounds to maybe a 1/2 pound. I'm not sure. If somebody can put that in the comments. So a 1/2 pound, if 1 pound, if we round it up 28, if we divide that by 2, that would be 14. So say hypothetically we may have 56 water columns here, and we may have 14 here, and the average unit in the house will run off between 7 and 11 water columns. So if you've so this would be a manageable pressure here. If you have a 2-pound, now if you do not see you have a regulator on any of your lines and you followed all of your gas lines, you may have a 1/2 pound meter, so you may not need this. But if you got a 2-pound meter, you're going to need this. So and one thing to keep in mind is, one can note there's an arrow here, which the arrow is pointing in this direction, so the gas flow would go towards this direction here. And so again, if you have a 2-pound meter, you're going to need this. So this would be 2 psi, and then I think it goes from 2 to a 1/2. Don't quote me on that, but if it goes to a 1/2 pound, that would be 2 psi to a 1/2 psi. But technically speaking, if this is 2, 1 water column rounded up would be 28. So 28 times 2, I think that would be 56. A 1/2 would be, 1/2 of 28 would be 14. So this would get you from 56 to 14, and this would be manageable pressure for your gas lines. And again, if you do not see one of these and everything else is working fine, then at this point you may not need one. But if you see one of these, look for a gas regulator. If you see a gas regulator, it will tell you that you probably are going to need a gas regulator for other fixtures. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.